guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review for you all, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a war/biography from Norway, Norwegian and German language with English subtitles, released in the year 2017, directed by Harold Swart, and this film is called The Twelfth Man. So The Twelfth Man depicts the incredible story of Jan Balsrud. Jan Balsrud was in the Second World War, and he was part of a 12-man sabotage crew that were tasked with going behind enemy lines and blowing up key strategic Nazi points. And this is going to weaken their stronghold that they had on their country. So unfortunately things don't go to plan, and as a result 11 of this sabotage team die. And so but one has escaped, and that is Jan Balsrud. He's been shot while he's escaping, so he's injured, but he will stop at nothing to get to Sweden. If he gets to Sweden he's going to be safe. But in order to do that he's going to have to get the help of the locals and also face the harsh, unforgiving element of the Scandinavian winter. So a Nazi official that is tasked with tracking this man down, he has a reputation of being very successful and very brutal in his methods to track down these fugitives. He says that any local that is caught helping Jan Balsrud will be executed. So he hopes that that's the fear that's going to be instilled, that's going to force them to report where Jan is. But as Jan inspires these people, they're reluctant to do this. And so the closer that Jan gets to the Swedish border, the more desperate this Nazi official gets. So it's a case of man versus man and man versus nature, and whether or not Jan can get to the Swedish border and inspire his people and basically destroy the morale of the Nazis is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on The Twelfth Man. I didn't know what to expect with this film. I knew it was a Norwegian war film, which is the reason why I wanted to see it, but I wasn't expecting too much because it's one of the lesser known films. But coming into the movie, I just didn't realise how much I would adore this film and how important this movie would be. This is not only a war film, but it's a movie about human inspiration. If you're facing adversity in your life and you believe that the situation is absolutely impossible, after watching what Jan Balsrud actually went through in real life will inspire you to achieve your dreams, inspire you to fight against your adversity. The old-fashioned saying, never give up, is never amplified as much as it is in The Twelfth Man. This is an incredible film that interweaves entertainment with human real-life story, and it's done in a way that it's not glorifying it in patriotism, it's just showing you what you can achieve. Jan Balsrud in this film is not only one single human being, but he's an inspiration to everybody. The way that he pours inspiration on these locals was absolutely uplifting. It's one of the best feeling films that I've had in a very long time, and because you feel so good about what Jan Balsrud is doing, it creates so much intensity. This is one of the most suspenseful action films I have seen in a very long time. The cinematography, it portrays the harsh and unforgiving landscape of Scandinavia, and it is a true test of man versus nature, and at the same time man versus man. And so not only does he have to try and stay out of the harsh elements, but he also has to try and avoid the capture. And you're never quite sure whether or not Jan Balsrud is going to be betrayed, or in fact he is actually going to win the race to get to Sweden. And it has you on the knife's edge, and it goes for about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I never really felt bored. And so that was the best part of the movie, is that majority of this film is action, and it never really lets up, and there's always danger around every corner, which is what I really loved about the film. And at the same time, as I said, the Norwegian patriotism that I thought could have been spilled on this character that was so inspiring in real history, I thought it would have been that kind of film, which a lot of American films do, and a lot of Russian films do as well. They glorify their heroes in a way where it's over-the-top patriotism, but this movie avoids that. And this movie is not necessarily glorifying a Norwegian individual, it's basically giving you inspiration in everyday life. And so it's something that just hits you on so much more than just a one-dimensional war film. And that's what I loved about the film, and that's why I believe it's so important. So the acting was absolutely phenomenal. What Jan Balsrud goes through in this film is absolutely devastating, and because it's so devastating, and the fact that he has such a strong will, I was willing him over the finish line. And because you're willing him over the finishing line and you're experiencing the emotion and the desperation that he's going through from the first minute to the last minute, I just wanted him to win. And that is the key ingredient to making a really good film, is that if you feel fear for an individual, you're going to be on the journey with them. And at the end of the film, I had to take a breath, because it's one of the most emotionally draining films that you can have, is because there are situations where it puts a Jan Balsrud in the firing line and you're never quite sure how something is going to transpire, and because of that it creates so much suspense and so much mystery. And so I thought that was fantastic. I thought the overall Nazi official, yes, they're painted in a very evil way because they were an evil regime, but this man, when he's tracking this guy down, I could feel the emotion in him, and he was starting to unravel. His insecurities were starting to unravel, and I thought that was an incredibly interesting character, but it was a very mysterious character, and not too much is put into that guy because the sole focus is on this incredible true story of Jan Bolsrud, but I thought the Nazi official was a key ingredient to have something to bounce off this man. And so as the situation of cat and mouse, the guy is getting closer, and who is going to outwit who, it just has so much on an emotional sense, and it has so much on an entertainment sense. The choreography of the action set pieces was phenomenal. There was one scene near the end where the Jan Bolsrud is on a sled. I'm not going to tell you what happens there, but it's one of the most thrillingly action-packed scenes I have seen in a long time. So I thought that scene was absolutely breathtaking, and there are other scenes to complement that breathtaking scene that I just thought made The 12th Man an incredible experience. And so the script was great, the acting was fantastic, the cinematography, creating that harsh landscape, I thought was fantastic. It creates so much more than just a one-dimensional danger, which is something I really liked. And it's just different from other war films because you've got this one particular person that just doesn't portray himself as a single person, but symbolises what it is to be human courage. And that human courage really inspired me. I go through a lot of adversity in life. I don't have a lot of confidence, but after watching Jan Bolsrud, this is definitely one of my favourite historical figures, and in a film, my favourite character is because what he goes through and the fact that he is not willing to give up was absolutely inspirational. And I definitely think that Harald Zwart did justice to a historical figure in making him someone that can really inspire people for decades to come. So that was all absolutely fantastic. If I have a problem with the film is that it is based on it's a biography, so it's based on a historical figure. So if you've read up on the story, you know how this is ultimately going to transpire. So although the actual set pieces are very, very suspenseful, I always thought that there was a certain fear factor that was diminished to some degree. And so that was not a problem in the film because it is trying to respect and show you what this incredible human being did. But because it's a biography, it kind of gives you a sense that, all right, you kind of know how the overall result's going to be, but it's getting to that result that I thought was absolutely fascinating. And I thought this is a phenomenal film, and it's one that I would highly recommend to everyone out there. If you are down and out in life and you're facing adversity, The 12th Man will really lift you up, and I definitely think Jan Bolsrud is a man in history that deserves to be more widely recognised. So not only was he achieving important things as far as winning the war is concerned, but he was achieving important things in giving the everyday person the courage to face up to their adversity, because it showcases that if you don't give up, the human capacity is capable of absolutely anything. So if it sounds like your cup of tea, I would highly recommend you check this one out. It was absolutely riveting, thrilling, suspenseful, and at the same time incredibly emotional. The connection you get with this guy makes it exhausting, but exhausting in all the right ways. So overall, for The 12th Man, it's a phenomenal film. I'm going to give this one 4.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later.